That was the vampire I saw earlier. This war takes no prisoners.
Na, definitiv nicht. Ist ja auch nicht wirklich ein Krieg, ne? Franzi, schönen guten Abend. Franzi, hi. So spät noch reingeschneit. Irgendjemand ist hier am...
It's locked.
It's locked. Ja, na gut, dann... Gehen wir halt hier lang. Hier sieht so aus, als könnten wir hier so ein bisschen durchschlüpfen. Du wolltest mal Hallo sagen. Ja, hallo.
The West End. Never have I felt so sad to be back home.
Okay. Manchmal kann Heimkehr auch scheiße sein. Oh Gott, der ist 27. Quarantäne anstrengend. Ja, das glaube ich dir gern. Das kann ich mir gut vorstellen. Vor allem hat man so viel Zeit damit, ne? In der Quarantäne, oder? Man kommt zu so vielen Sachen, die man vorher irgendwie nie geschafft hat. Stelle ich mir zumindest der Quarantäne vor. So, dann nehmen wir das hier noch mit. Ratte.
This is despicable.
Despicable. Das muss aber nicht abscheulich sein. Es ist nun mal jetzt unsere Natur. Okay, das ist da wohl das Haus, in das wir müssen. Unbekannt. Das ist wohl das Haus, wo wir rein müssen. Anwesen der Raid-Familie. Oh. Kleiner Schlüssel. Wir müssen Geld klauen. Hier können wir schlafen. Was herstellen. Unseren Kasten. Aber ein Vorteil, mal wieder fit sein. Ausschlafen und das Wichtigste, man muss seinen Chef nicht sehen. Ja, Haushalt komplett fertig. Weiß nicht mehr weiter. Ja. Nutzt es zum Zocken. Immer zocken. Rein. Den PC einschalten und nie wieder ausschalten. Ich sag's dir. Das ist das, was ich versuchen würde. Einmal einschalten, nie wieder ausschalten. Ich würde versuchen, so viele Spiele durchzuspielen.
Mother. Good evening.
Jonathan! Is it
Oh,
you?
das ist unsere Mutti.
Where have you been, my prodigal son?
I'm right here, Mother. I'm finally home.
Yes, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and now found. But where is your sister? Where is Mary?
Mary? She is gone. Mother.
I know she's gone. The question is, when will she return as you have? I miss my grandson so much. It's been days since their last visit.
Dennis wird auch schon langweilig. Ja, ich spiele so viel PC aktuell. Sehr gut. Besser als Konsole. Endlich. Endlich seid ihr auf der PC-Seite. So. Oh, ach krass, die hat nur Stufe 1. Okay. Ui, das ist aber hier ein paar Leute, ne? Endlich seid ihr auf der Seite des PCs.
Mother, do you know what's been going on in this area?
Not really. I don't go out much due to the epidemic, and when I do, I tend to get lost.
What do you mean you get lost? I hope you don't go outside alone.
Of course not. When I go out, your father always comes with me, but he leaves me there sometimes, and I have trouble finding the way back.
Der Papa nicht irgendwie tot? Dennis ist nicht der Spielkonsole. Oh, Franzi, da haben wir noch viel zu tun. Wir müssen wir bekehren. Unbedingt.
Cemetery since Mary's funeral.
I never want to go back to that awful place. Wait. I think I went back once. And you were there too. And Mary? No, that can't be true.
It was just a bad dream, Mother.
A nightmare, yes. Mary was so angry. I walked back home alone. If that kind policeman had not called Avery from the station, I don't know what would have happened.
Hey?
Why do you say Mary is visiting you, Mother? You know that's impossible.
Why should it be? Are you not standing in front of me right now? Why should it be any different with your sister?
But Mary really is dead, Mother.
Yes. And are you not dead too? Isn't your father dead? And my grandson? And my son-in-law? You're all gone. But you all still visit me from time to time.
Aber ich habe gesehen, 3. März kommt Paranormal Activity 7. Ja, aber wird anstrengend, ihn von der Konsole runterzukriegen. Ja, oh, 3. März ist das schon soweit. Wie heißt der denn noch? Irgendwas mit Keen, glaube ich, ne? The Last Keen oder sowas? Irgendwie sowas, ne? Irgendwas mit Keen, glaube ich. In dem Elmelstoff. Oh, da freue ich mich richtig drauf auf den Film. Es wird anstrengend, ihn von der Konsole runterzukriegen. Franzi, wir haben ihn jetzt schon verdammt weit, dass er nicht nur Konsole spielt. Damals war so Abneigung gegen PC. Jetzt ist er mittlerweile auf PC. Wenig Konsole. Wir kriegen auch noch richtig PC. Es gibt Spiele, da kriegen wir ihn nicht von weg. Also will ich auch gar nicht, ne? So God of War, Ragnarök, was jetzt rauskommt und so. Aber das ist auch okay, finde ich. Aber wir schaffen das. Wir müssen nur zusammenhalten.
But I'm not dead, Mother. I'm really here, talking to you.
The Next Keen heißt
Trying
er.
not to cry.
Next of Kin,
Oh,
ja.
it breaks my heart to have to tell you this. But of course you're dead, my darling boy.
Den Film freue ich mich. Schön im Elmelstoff oder was das da war.
Do you need anything, Mother? Can I help you?
I just want you to stay with me, Jonathan. Your room is ready. I asked Avery to make your bed.
I'll stay as long as I can, I promise. Do you need anything else?
Just one thing. Stop staring at me like that. As much as I love you, it breaks my heart to look at those empty and dead
Okay, sie
eyes.
weiß, dass wir anscheinend Vampiren sind. Dass wir ein Vampir sind.
Are you working on a new painting?
Not recently. I have trouble focusing on my subject and my mind quickly drifts. It's the same thing when I try to write poetry.
I recently met a talented painter with an excellent technique. I wish you two could meet. I'm sure you'd like her.
I'd be glad to meet her. What is her name? Is she famous? Is she dead too?
She's not famous, and her name is of no importance. And yes, she's also dead.
The important thing is, I hope you two get along. If she ever fancies meeting your mother, I'd be glad to welcome her into my home.
Oh, irgendwie ist sie niedlich, die Frau. So, okay, wir haben ja alles jetzt gefragt, ne? Ja. Haben wir auch. Über die Familie haben wir auch.
Goodbye, Mother. Try to rest now.
Goodbye, son. Please come back soon.
Gebe mein Bestes. Sie ist auch gesund.
Jonathan, my dear, bring me my glasses. I feel like reading.
Du hast einen Becher neben dir stehen, Omi. Mutti. Ich meine Mutti. So, hier sitzt doch auch jemand drin, ne? Nein, doch nicht. Hä? Das ist ein Butler. Das ist die magische Vase übrigens. Die braucht keinen Tisch, um zu stehen. Aubrey Reeds erster Brief. Anwesen der Reed-Familie. 4. April 1908. Nur 80 Jahre vor meinem Geburtstag, Leute. Mein lieber guter Sohn, also etwas mehr als 80 Jahre, aber okay. Mein lieber guter Sohn, wenn du diesen Brief erhältst, wirst du 35 Jahre alt und ich werde schon lange fort sein. Ich fühle mich etwas töricht, dass ich dir einen Brief schreibe, den du erst in einigen Jahren lesen wirst. Ich habe lange mit mir gerungen, wie ich dir am besten schreibe, bis mir unsere Rätsel eingefallen sind, die ich mir für dich ausgedacht habe, als du ein Junge warst. Ach, wie du es geliebt hast, diese Rätsel zu lösen. Ich hielt es für eine gute Idee, dir ein letztes dieser Spiele vorzuschlagen. Es ist keine richtige Belohnung, es wird keine richtige Belohnung geben. Dieses Mal also keine Süßigkeiten oder exotische Kostbarkeiten, wenn du es löst. Aber dafür gibt für dich etwas wahrscheinlich Kostbareres. Die Wahrheit. Das ist mein einziger Versuch darzulegen, warum ich die Familie ohne Erklärung verließ. Wenn du den Grund wissen möchtest, spiele einfach mein kleines Spiel. Es ist einzig und allein deine Entscheidung, mein Sohn. Glaube mir, ich liebe dich. Ich verspreche, dass die Familie alles für mich war und immer noch ist. Ich erinnere mich daran, dass, wie ich deine Schwester und dich zum ersten Mal in den Arm hielt. Meine Schätze, meine Juwelen. Immer wenn ich heimkam, erfüllte es mich mit solcher Freude, euch aufwachsen, spielen und lachen zu sehen. Ich hätte getötet, um euch zu beschützen. Mein Sohn, meine Tochter, meine Frau. Doch am Ende hat mich mein Schicksal eingeholt und ich musste eine schwierige Entscheidung treffen. Es fiel mir am schwersten, ohne ein Wort zu verschwinden. Ich tat es trotzdem und schon bald werde ich endgültig verschwunden sein. Ich bitte dich nicht um Vergebung, nur um Verständnis. Wenn du mehr erfahren möchtest, musst du dich nur daran erinnern, wie glücklich wir damals waren, wenn du da meine nächsten... Wie glücklich wir damals waren. Wenn du meine nächste Nachricht finden möchtest, denke an das grüne Gras und die großen Bäume an den warmen Sonntagen. Dein dich liebender Vater, Aubrey Reed.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
Okay. Wo ist Mutti? Mutti! Mutti! Mutti ist weg. Warum liegen da Rosen vor? Oder Tulpen? Ui, hallo? Unhöflich. Ah, sehr gute Vase. Brauchst du auch. Ja, vor allem ist sie leicht umzustellen, ne? Die verbraucht keinen Platz. Die kannst du auch an die Decke hängen. Mit dem neuen Siemens Lufthaken. Okay, da geht's raus. Wir wollen aber weiter rein. Ist das Reed-Anwesen? Warum sind da Aluminiumfragmente drin? Oh, ein Butler. Unser
Good
Butler.
evening, Avery.
Mr. Jonathan, I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were... Sir, your poor sister. What a tragedy.
I know, Avery. I know about my sister's murder.
Miss Reed expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan? We needed you here.
Ja.
How is my mother?
Not well, I'm afraid, sir. Miss Reed is very fragile since the police brought her back home.
The police? What happened?
Miss Reed was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had spoken with her son and daughter. She's resting now.
Okay.
Has she received appropriate medical care?
I'm taking care of Miss Reed myself. Hospitals are so overwhelmed by the epidemic that they can only accept patients infected by influenza.
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip. Somewhere sunny, like France. She has always been very fond of France. I think leaving London could do her good.
I'm afraid Miss Reed is too frail for the moment. Recently, she started going out at night without remembering it. I have to watch her carefully.
Okay.
What is the situation in this part of town?
For a time, the West End seemed spared by the epidemic. But the situation is getting much worse.
Have you no relatives anywhere? I'll understand if you want to take a few days to see family.
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as long as I take care of this house, sir. My sisters are dead, and I've never met my nephews. I'll stay, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry I could not be here for Mary's funeral.
Your mother was strong, sir, but your support would have been appreciated. Apart from the priest and I, no one else attended your sister's funeral.
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery. But I'm sorry, I simply could not attend.
I would not dare to question your absence, Mr. Jonathan. All I can say is that we missed you a great deal during these difficult days.
Unsympathischer Mann, finde ich. Ein sehr, sehr sympathischer Mann.
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I live.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir, so my task is not over.
You have served this family extremely well, Avery. Your support during these terrible times is much appreciated.
Then I will stay. All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic.
Immer alles
No
mit Tod
mass
hier.
grave, please, sir.
Ah.
You really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jonathan.
You clearly have something more to say. Speak your mind, Avery.
I know you work hard to help the sick, but what will you do once the epidemic is over?
My home is here, and I have nowhere else to go. But this house will need some improvements if I move here. Some radical changes.
That's good news. Whatever changes you have in mind, I'm sure we will find an arrangement that suits your mother also.
Stimmt.
I found an old letter written by my father and addressed to me. Do you know anything about it, Avery?
Your father wanted me to give you this letter for your 35th birthday, but you left for the war, and the letter remained in his office until tonight.
I realize now you knew my father better than I did. Do you know why he left, Avery? Did he ever speak to you about his departure?
No, sir. Mr. Reed was not exactly forthcoming. Perhaps this letter will give you the information you require.
Okay.
Goodbye, Avery. Please watch over my mother until I return.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan. But please return as soon as possible.
Durch die Tür kamen wir. Für Klavier spielen, oh schade. Oh, wäre das cool gewesen. Jetzt eine Runde Klavier spielen. Das wäre richtig stark gewesen. Hier gibt es gar keinen anderen Ausgang. Okay. Ein alter Brief. Anwesen der Reed-Familie, 8. März 1908. Mein lieber Avery, wie ich Ihnen bereits vor Tagen mitgeteilt habe, muss ich England verlassen, wenn auch nur für ein paar Monate. Solange ich fort bin und bis mein Sohn nach London zurückkehrt, möchte ich, dass Sie sich gut um unser Haus kümmern. Ich habe bereits die nötigen Arrangements getroffen, um Ihren Lohn zu erhöhen und ihn so lange weiterzuzahlen, wie Sie hier arbeiten. Sie haben mir versprochen, meine geliebte Frau zu beschützen und ihr bestmöglich zu dienen. Dafür möchte ich mich von ganzem Herzen bei Ihnen bedanken. Sollte ich nicht wiederkehren, haben einzig und allein Sie mein volles Vertrauen. Ihre innigster Freund, Ihre innigster Freund? Aubrey Reed. Das klingt irgendwie falsch. Und komisch vor allem. Also so komisch falsch. Hier noch eine schwebende Vase. Ich glaube, der Kerzenständer auch. Nee, die Lampe nicht. Aber die Vase schwebt wieder, glaube ich. Na gut, dann gehen wir mal raus. West End.
The Ascalon Club.
Hallo.
The heart of British vampire society. Not quite. Good evening, sir. Please
Honest.
forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reed.
Welcome, Dr. Reed. Welcome to my humble shop.
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Finding a good restaurant. Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Okay.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Das willst du gar nicht. Okay, aber wir haben eine neue Untersuchung.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
I'm afraid the newspapers are seriously underestimating the situation. Things are critical, believe me.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit?
Definitiv
For the thrill of
nein.
it?
Is it not
Ein
a little
Schwurbler.
too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? and all the random violence.
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
Der Typ ist unsympathisch. Ein bisschen komisch ist er.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Vor allem ist sein Outfit so komisch zusammengewürfelt, finde ich, mit dem Monokel und dem Riesenzylinder.
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my
Komisch
parents
gekleideter
died.
Mann.
I'm London's lone gourmet.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
Das Gesicht macht dich aggressiv. Warum? Hä? Warum das Gesicht?
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Ein Restaurantkritiker, ja? Schau, was er
I
hat.
may have a look at your goods, Mr. Russell.
Only the first step.
Hm. Nein, das wollte ich gar nicht.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Ja, hallo.
I may have a look at your goods, Mr. Russell.
Genau. Ich will sehen, was er hat. Ergotamin. Der sieht komisch aus und dann noch dieses Einglasteil. Das nennt man Monokel. Opium. Ein Armband. Ja, das brauche ich ja nicht. Ja, ich glaube, das nehme ich auch mal mit. Salazin. Eisennitrat. Natriumchlorid, Codein. Gesundheit. Wird das auch 88. Oh, die sind teuer, die Sachen. Okay, jetzt habe ich alles, was ich möchte.
Equality between men and women.
Men and women.
Women die.
Yeah, my friend.
Women
Oh.
of all countries unite.
Oh,
Good evening, miss.
Oh my god, no. Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would...
what?
What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reed. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Ekons. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte. What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here, and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reed?
Nein.
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, May I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
Tell me about your adoption.
What do you want to know?
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me
Ist
all
arrogant.
my life.
Ja, sie wirkt ein
I have
bisschen
no
so, ja.
idea who my
Aber
progenitors
es kann auch an der
are or
Sprache
were.
liegen,
Do you
beziehungsweise
live
an dem
I
Dialekt.
still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Hey.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Ekon, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
Okay.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Ja.
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Das könnte Dennis sein. Der redet auch so, wenn er kein Recht bekommt. Ich sag doch, in ihm steckt eine Frau. Viel Platz hat sie aber nicht.
Are you a suffragette then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You
Könnte.
have my thanks, Dr. Reed. And please, don't tell my mother.
Das überlege ich mir noch.
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously. And the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reed? Or you?
Of course not. You have nothing to fear from me or your mother.
Good to know. And don't worry, my mother told me everything I need to know about vampire tricks, their nature as well as features.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reed.
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Remember, don't let any strangers come into your house. Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?